Hi guys. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Not like me. Hi Sally. Right, Sally from Getting Stuff Done in Heels is almost joining us. Bear with me. Do, 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 do.
Day.
Oh, you're in your hanging chair. I could have got in my hanging chair.
I only got it out because I thought you'd be in yours. You let me down.
I absolutely should have been. Sorry, did that throw you that I went onto the Titty Gritty?
Oh God!
You're like,
Lucky I
what's
didn't
she
have to
doing?
move out the chair.
Oh, Sally, I'm very nervous.
Why? Oh, because tomorrow.
I've got this climb tomorrow. Yeah.
You'll be fine. Just don't look down.
So it's not that. It's just that there's lots of people coming, and I just worry that's like someone's going to get like, I don't know, stuck on a train somewhere and not going to make it.
Oh, of course, petrol. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is that. People may not have been able to be delivered to the O2.
Yeah, exactly. So there's going to be, and also with the COVID restrictions, we can't all like stand together. It's so frustrating. We can't all stand together.
But you can snog anyone you like in a nightclub, according to my son at Freshers.
Well, exactly. Is that what's happening? Oh my
Apparently
God.
So.
Heavy petting on Freshers Week. Who'd have thought? Yes, so I'm climbing the O2 tomorrow because it's for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and frankly, the O2 looks like a massive boob.
It does. It looks
Doesn't
like
it?
one single massive boob.
Yes.
Perfect.
And I tried my absolute hardest to get a giant inflatable nipple to go at the top.
Did you fail?
You should see my Google history. It looks very dark. But for health and safety reasons, we couldn't
get the nipple.
Couldn't get the nipple. So it's nippleless.
Absolute disaster.
I know.
I think everyone will get it though.
Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's a boob. It's a nice big boob.
I'll just keep saying it. We're fine. So we are talking bloody cancer again. See what I did there?
The only one way you can actually swear and get away with it.
I know. And obviously, Sally, the reason I'm talking to you is because your lovely husband lives with a form of blood cancer, but lives very normally.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like his diagnosis. So I'm sort of I'm a bit of a geek on his particular diagnosis. Although I know a lot about blood cancer now, I particularly know a lot about his type, obviously. And it's the sort of blood cancer where you have to turn everything you thought you knew about cancer on its head, because it's stage 4, incurable, but doesn't necessarily need treating. And that's not because, oh, it's too late, he's too ill. It's just because it's not doing much. It's just sort of there. I liken it to a tube train going around the central line, and it just keeps going round, and the people don't get out, therefore you're not getting ill. It's just going round and round.
Oh my God.
It's weird. He has had treatment. So there, you know, people do need treatment, and he has had treatment.
And does he have to go for regular tests?
Yeah, so well let's shall we start at the beginning?
Let's back right the heck up.
Back up the truck.
Yeah, back up the truck. Do you want to talk about the sort of the signs and symptoms that he faced? Yeah,
so okay, Oleg Singleton Bespoke, my husband's father's been diagnosed. Right, so yeah, I'm sorry about that. So this was 7 years ago now, and he was incredibly stressed, incredibly tired, and had tummy pain. And we just thought, it's work, it's busy, it's stress. Tummy pain, well, that's his weak spot. You know how someone always gets a sore throat, his tummy is his weak spot. And after a while, and he'd had his family history is colon cancer, so he's been flossed. Like the actions, he's been flossed. And it wasn't that. So we went back to a specialist at the hospital and said, you know, he's not right, there's something wrong. So he just said, well, look, we'll do a scan, and we'll just discount that, and then we'll come back down to all the other things it might be, because the tummy pain was quite bad. Anyway, they did the scan, and lots of people who follow me will know this bit, but I was working the night he went for the scan results, because I was like, look, just get your results and then we can get over Christmas. It was 2 weeks before Christmas. We can get over Christmas, and then in January we can sort out whatever it is you're eating that you're allergic to or whatever. And I was working, so I didn't go with him. And I highly recommend no one ever goes for scan results on their own, because you just never know. Anyway, it was the worst case scenario. He came home, and I was pacing at that point because he was quite late home. And I was like, I'd finished work and I was like, oh, he hasn't phoned. He arrived on the doorstep in floods of tears and said, Sal, it's cancer. It's just, even now it makes my heart go funny. It was just the most awful moment. So luckily, the specialist we saw he knew at the point of that we've seen something, that Gav had gone deaf, and he said, go home, come back with your wife. So that's exactly what we did. We went straight back, and I'm like,
that same day.
It was night, actually. It was evening. My car was all frosted up, and I was driving through a tiny little hole that I could see that I'd breathed onto. Oh, it was just awful. And the kids were younger then, so I've had to get my mum over and just say, tell the kids we've gone for a drink. Out the door. It was just awful.
Can I just ask at this point, did he have any family history of this?
No,
no, nothing. So
zero.
All intents and purposes, he should be getting cancer.
And he was 44. He's 51 now. He was 44. So basically we were diagnosed, I always say we were diagnosed with a lymphoma, and then that was from a scan. He could see a dodgy lymph node. So then we were thrown into 2 weeks, 3 weeks of tests, bone marrow biopsies, all sorts of stuff, lymph node biopsies, all sorts. And all I could think was, I haven't even bought Christmas turkey, and we go already. The results aren't going to be in until the 2nd of January. This is going to be epically shit now.
Yeah,
it was just awful.
Because you don't know what you're dealing with.
No, you just know. And my history, my uncle, I would say 25 years ago, but it's probably nearer 30 now. Yeah. He was diagnosed with a form of really aggressive leukemia, AML, acute myeloid leukemia, which I think if it had been now, he would have been treated. It would be different. But he died 2 weeks after diagnosis. So I was hardwired to be utterly terrified. I hear the word blood cancer and I just go, I don't want to know, and I'm not listening. It's too scary. So to have it faced up to us was incredibly scary. And I'd never even heard of a lymphoma. What's that mean? You got one? But it was a type of, now I know it was a type of lymphoma, not just a lymphoma in your body.
Yeah.
So that was pretty shit.
So you got through Christmas, and then you went and got the results. And what was the deal then?
Well, Christmas was, I always, like somebody just said, the unknown is the worst. It absolutely is, isn't it? And I refer to it as the 3-4 weeks, because they had to grow some stuff on a Petri dish. So quite often, and I'm sure we'll crisscross this with our conversation tonight, but quite often with a blood cancer, you know, if you've had a blood test, say, and Gav had clear blood tests, so go figure, if you've had a blood test and you've got an acute form of blood cancer, such as leukemia, quite often you'll be called back the same day. They'll go, something's wrong with your white count, you've got to come straight back in, and straight in. With Gav, because his diagnosis turned out to be follicular non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is chronic. So they have to grow this thing on, I understand it now, they have to grow this thing on a Petri dish and discount everything else. And after 3 or 4 weeks, they eventually go, oh, it's this. Meanwhile, we're waiting. We have no idea what to expect.
God. Is that the same diagnosis as Nicola Mendelsohn?
Yeah, we're cancer pals. So yeah, it's the same. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, it was a massive shock, and then to know it's stage 4, which in Gav's case meant it had travelled a bit, but that's not like with this particular diagnosis. Yeah. It's not like another diagnosis where if it's travelled, I mean, you've got to get on it, treatment. Yeah, it's a slow, chronic, incurable disease that needs to be treated when it's actually attacking you. So it turns out Gav's stomach pain was something else. It wasn't actually in attack.
Was it your cooking?
I suspect it was the lasagna. It was very, very dodgy that night. I think it might have been that. So if it's in attack mode, then you need it, a bit like any other chronic disease that is, it's not terminal, but you'll never be cured from it. if you're say for instance, and I don't want to diminish cancer or make asthma sound any less than it is, but think of it like this: asthma is a disease you can't be cured from. It could be potentially fatal if it's not treated correctly at the time of an attack, but in between attacks you're good, and there's no point in being treated when you're not under attack, because puffing when you're not under attack, as far as you know, bear with me on this, if you've got asthma, it's not going to prevent the next attack.
Got you.
So Gab was in the position of, well, you're not under attack, you're not in extreme danger, we don't need to give you chemo and stem cell transplants and throw all that at you, but there is a treatment you could have, which is sort of, we still got a book saying chemotherapy, but it was an immunotherapy called rituximab. So he had that for 2 years. He had 4 infusions, and then every other month there's a subcutaneous an injection in his tummy for 2 years, and that, as it just like squashed it all back down, and it's now still sleeping. The reason they say his type of lymphoma, which again I'll just repeat if anyone's joining, follicular non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, the reason they say it's incurable is because it's slow growing. When it's been sent to sleep, you know how, say for instance, your cancer shows on a screen and it's sort of shouting and doing this? His isn't. It's out the back having a fag. You can't, it's literally, they're like, well, your scan is clear, but it's definitely there somewhere, but it's not shouting at us.
Oh my God.
So that's why they say it's incurable, because they know it's there, but because it's so lazy and quiet, when it's not attacking you, it's just out the back having a fag, so it doesn't need treating at that point.
But am I right in thinking that other types of blood cancer behave quite differently, or do they all have this same kind of makeup as this one?
They all have
slower burners.
The slower burners for sure, but generally there's 3 types of blood cancer. There's leukemia, lymphoma, and myeloma. So they're the 3 categories, and beyond that, underneath that, there's aggressive, chronic, there's hundreds of different like types under that, but generally it's leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and they all affect your white blood cells in different ways. So lymphoma affects your lymphocytes. I explain lymphoma if you like, and they all are broadly, and I would hate to offend anyone with leukemia or myeloma and get this wrong, but broadly speaking, it's cancer. If you think about it, it's not a tumor, it's cancer of the immune system.
That
so
makes
something's
sense to
gone wrong in your immune system. Carrie, it can be silent, but some of them aren't. Some of them are quite noisy. So we'll talk about maybe symptoms, because they can be quite different.
Let's talk about the symptoms, actually, because I always find that that's really interesting, and actually it's great take home for people as well. That so tiredness was one.
Massively. If you've got that extreme fatigue that sleeping doesn't help, you still wake up in the morning after 12 hours absolutely out for the count and you're still tired, that's a red flag for any cancer, isn't it, really?
Absolutely.
So there's that. Hang on, I did write a list because I always forget one and I know them off by heart. But so unexplained weight loss, that's classic any cancer. Breathlessness, now that can often be with certain types of blood cancer, that your lymph nodes have grown quite large, so large that they're pressing on another organ or squishing your lung a bit, and that can cause tummy pain too. So your lymph nodes, I think they're normally fingernail size, someone said to me once, like a baked bean, but they can swell quite big, and if they're pressing on another organ, then you get breathlessness or tummy pains. Lumps, so obviously the lumps that you can feel are under here, in your neck, in your groin, this when you're fighting, so think of your immune system, when you're fighting a bug, a cough, a cold, whatever, you will have your glands up. So they do wax and wane, but if you have a lump in your neck or under your arm that doesn't go after a couple of weeks, absolutely, for anything, it needs checking out, because it could be a type of blood cancer, because it doesn't go away. Cancer doesn't come and go, generally.
No.
So that's one. And again, drenching night sweat. So a lot of us our age, my age, could say, oh God, well, I've got that. That could be the menopause. All of these symptoms don't necessarily mean you've got cancer, but they need to be up here.
I had terrible night sweats.
Did you?
leading up to my diagnosis.
Did
Yeah.
you? That's really interesting, isn't it? So, and
Yeah.
that's a red flag. That needs sorting out. Certainly with blood cancer, infections that are recurrent. So if you feel like you're never quite getting over a cold, or your cuts or scrapes are taking a long time to heal, that's a red flag that your immune system isn't firing on all systems.
Is there anything in bruising more
Yes.
easily?
Yeah. If you have weird bruises or strange rashes, you can even have them in your mouth, a weird rash in your mouth, unexplained bruising, it comes up out of nowhere, and itchy. Yeah. If you've got a weird, I was looking online earlier to see about itchy skin, and it's some blood cancers and not others, but there's no sort of rhyme or there's no like reason for it. The scientists don't know why, but really itchy skin.
Yeah. I've heard that before, actually. And actually, somebody said when they had, it was when they're having treatment for cancer, they got quite itchy skin.
Yeah,
I think that's quite common.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, isn't it? And then certainly with blood cancers, and especially like myelomas, pain in your bones or joints, because that's where your bone marrow is. So hang on, let me get this the right way around. Well, so lymphoma is the 5th most common cancer. Who knew?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really common.
Yeah.
It's really common. And we were told when we were diagnosed that Gav was sitting there at 45 male. We were told that most people are over 65 and female. So we're like, that's really helpful for that. Thank you for that during our diagnosis. That's really helpful. Makes you feel even more alone.
Yeah.
So, it's in your bone marrow. So if it's a type of blood cancer, you could have really sore bones, like achy bones.
Yeah. How's it in your bones? How's it in your bone marrow?
Because that's often where it starts. Because your bone marrow is where all your lymphocytes and everything lives. If there's any doctors watching, I'm getting this wrong. I'm not a doctor, but if you think about it, you especially. In big bones, like in your hip and pelvis, a lot of bone marrow in there, and that's where everything's built, and that's where they all disappear out, and that's where your immune system is born, if you like.
And that's why then you would get bone pain from that.
Yeah, because your white blood cells are all over the shop.
Yeah. And is there, if you were going to get some sort of blood cancer, are there better ones to have than others?
Well, interestingly, the more acute they are, like the more aggressive they are, the more terrifying it is, the more likely they are to be cured. The less aggressive, the more chronic they are, incurable.
Yes. So that's interesting. That's when I got my diagnosis. So mine was grade 3, which means it was the most type of aggressive. My oncologist said, strangely enough, it means it's better in a way because you're going to be more likely to respond well to chemo.
Fire with fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lot
fight fire with fire. Exactly that. Yeah.
It's incredible. It's real. I think with us, I mean, Gav went into having 2 years of rituximab, which is the immunotherapy, and we felt like we were doing something. You know, we're treating this, and mentally, you imagine it like a Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And that definitely helped when you went on to treatment, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes you are left going, well, you've got stage 4 cancer. Off you go.
Yeah.
Really
and what about how was he mentally and physically going through when he had to go through the get rid of my dog when he had to go through the treatment? How did he cope with that?
Well,
is it quite harsh or?
No, it's because so with his type of cancer, if he needed chemo, if he was in attack mode and they were really worried about him, they would have done rituximab, which is the R, and then they would have done CHOP, which is the chemo bit. So he'd have had R-CHOP, and the CHOP is exactly as it sounds, just like your hair, you know, it's hard.
Right.
The really big chemo.
So he didn't have the CHOP bit; he just had the R bit.
Yeah, the R bit, which was a lot gentler. So he reacted when they first started the first infusion. He had quite a strong reaction, and they expect that. It was in his tummy, and that's where his pain was. And in Sally world, I'm going, oh, good, it's gone straight to the right bit. But I don't know if that's true. So Yeah, that he did have an reaction, so they did have to just do it really slow. It was a good 12 hours in hospital each time, and then when he went down to injections, it was about 3 hours each time, because you've got to sit there before and after an antihistamine. And he just got really flushed. His immune response was quite strong, so he got very flushed, and we knew we had to be home after the injection. We had to be home within 2 hours. So we'd go and have breakfast at the Ivy or brunch. Got to keep your standards up. And now it reminds me of cancer when we go there for brunch. But anyway, and then we'd get home and he'd literally sleep the rest of the day.
And so you would always go with him?
Yeah.
Isn't it awful that people at the moment aren't able to have anybody with them through their treatment? Honestly, it breaks my heart that there are people going in, getting diagnoses on their own.
You can't always speak for yourself or even hear what's being
absolutely
said. Blank.
I totally agree with that. And also the other scary part at the moment is if people do have certain symptoms, they're not getting them checked out, and it's really hard, because I get it, like nobody wants to be bothering the GPs don't feel that's accessible either at the moment, do they?
Also, I think, COVID aside, but when you're worried about something and you think, I need to say if it's blood cancer, I need to ask if they think it's breast cancer and send me for other things. Even just the thought of that, I haven't got time for this. I haven't got time for cancer. I'll just leave it, because they're all busy.
My God.
I'm busy and I haven't got time. I don't want to face it.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And Chris on here, Mam Shoot's just saying that it is so tough. The pandemic we could just kind of do without right now, couldn't we?
Yeah, because it's not giving anyone sort of much confidence. But
no,
I think because the symptoms can be so for certain blood cancers, I mean, for other ones there's no question. You are poorly, you go straight to the doctors, they'll do a blood test, or they might even just go, you're really ill, we need to do something with you. So there's different, how poorly you feel, don't you?
Yeah.
Acute myeloid leukemia, you feel like you've got the flu, you can feel so ill, like iller than you've ever been, and great go. Do not pass go, straight, whatever.
Yeah, but absolutely.
I think if anyone's listening to this and they're worried, first of all, it's the worst time of night to be worried, so just know it's unlikely to be it. Yeah. But also be armed with the information to talk to your doctor and actually say, because they're not mind readers, could this be blood cancer? Do I need a blood test? Again, Gavs were always clear. So I was like, his blood test is clear, it'd be fine. Do I need a lymph node biopsy? Do I need scans? Do I need a urine test? And can you put me on a 2-week pathway? Because I am worried that these symptoms could be blood cancer. And almost say it out loud, say Voldemort out loud to the doctor.
Yeah, I think it's so important to sort of take a bit of ownership over your, be a bit forthright.
Yeah, because otherwise they could just say, oh, it's probably a virus, and off you go. And then you're then just worrying. It might be, but you're then just worrying and saying, this lymph node's been up for a while and it's not gone down, and I've constantly got a sore throat,
Yeah, I hate it when I get a lymph node coming up on the other side every now and again, and I'm like, oh.
I mean, that's that, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. Susan's just asking the symptoms. So it's tiredness, achy bones, extreme tiredness. Yeah. Could be lumps where your lymph nodes are.
If you've got a raised lymph node for more than a couple of weeks, that needs sorting out. And say out loud, they're where they're nearer the surface of the skin. So obviously you've got lymph nodes in your tummy, and they will check your tummy. But under here, up here, and in your groin, that's where they show, because they're nearer the surface.
Crazy Irish Cupcake, yes, it is at the beginning, so do catch up on that. So Chris has just asked, what does it show up as on a scan? Because did he have a CT scan or anything?
Yeah, shows as a weird shaped lymph node. So it would just be a lymph node that looks really odd. It just goes out, it'd be out of shape and looking. I think they had like a hard edge or something. I can't remember what. They just know once they see that, and they go, that is in Gav's case, a lymphoma. But leukemia and myeloma might be diagnosed slightly differently, but yeah, they're looking for that on a scan for lymphoma.
What about Hodgkin's lymphoma? Is that different?
So there's Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's. the different, I mean, there are different diagnoses, but they're called that because Dr. Hodgkins discovered Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he didn't discover non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. There we are. Poor old whoever discovered
non-Hodgkin's person.
You're just nobody to me.
Yeah. Can they not think of a better name to call it?
I know. So it's basically cancer of the immune system. It can be called lymphatic cancer. Cancer of the lymphocytes can be called that too. But again, there's aggressive types and non-aggressive types of that. And you'll be looking at chemo or under all of those, cell transplant, if that fits. Not for everybody, but for some people.
And then the other thing that I just wanted to touch on was you were talking about how you can get yourself tested. This is to donate.
Yeah. So hang on, is dizziness a symptom? Not that I know. Not that I know of. Particularly, it's not on the list.
No.
Yes. So all of us have inside us, inside our blood, we have stem cells. And they're going around our bodies all the time, and that's our immune system. So that will go and attack a cold or a cut or whatever. It's nothing to do with the blood. It's something carried in your blood. So we don't. If I was going to donate my stem cells to you because we were a perfect match, it wouldn't matter if your blood was O and I was an A, as long as the whatever it is, and I can never remember the word, is in the stem cells within a genetic match. And you could have, this is what blows my mind. All of us have got stem cells, and we would all absolutely be a genetic match for a complete stranger walking the planet in another country or this country, and we don't know it. So I've got it inside me to save someone's life if they should get blood cancer and need to be saved by a stem cell donor. Same as somebody could rescue me.
So this is different to giving blood. Going to think this is.
And in fact, you can be a stem cell donor if you can't give blood. So if you can't, there's a few reasons if you can't give blood. If you've had a blood transfusion, if you're a gay man, I think that might have changed, but that was the rule. If you're a gay man, you can't give blood. You can give your stem cells because we don't want your blood. In fact,
and how do they take your stem cells?
So if you are found to be a match, should we just go through quickly getting on the register, and then we can say to get on the register. I've got an envelope here. You need to be aged between 17 and 55.
Yeah.
That's quite right, Kate. Crazy Irish up, Kate. You can't if you've had any cancer diagnosis. You can get on the DKMS register if you're in a fairly good health. There's a little health questionnaire. So there's some contraindications that you can't, but they'll find them for you. Yeah, and if you're aged between 16 and 30, you can go on to the Anthony Nolan one. You only need to be on one, because say you're on two and the call goes out that someone needs a donor. If you're on two registers, they're going to go, oh, we found two people. So all registers worldwide are checked.
Wow.
When someone needs a donor.
What, and then somebody will like ship it over from.
It's somebody's job to take the step. I'd love to do it. It's
I'd
someone's
like to do that job.
Oh, I know. Take the stem cells from the hospital to the airport, see them onto the plane, someone else to get it off. I don't know whether they're babysat on the plane. I'm not sure through COVID, but someone will get it off the other side and take it straight to a hospital where there's a patient waiting. It's amazing.
Oh my God, and that can literally save somebody's life.
Yeah. So all you have to do is order your swabs. It's 3 swabs, and they look like long cotton buds, or our COVID swabs now. Inside your cheek for a few seconds. Wait for them to dry for 5 minutes. Back in the envelope. In the post. That is it. It's not gory or anything. It's just cells from the inside of your cheek.
So you shove that in the post.
Yeah. Then and actually through COVID times, they leave it for 7 days. Once it arrives, by then the COVID stuff will have all fallen. So you don't have to worry about that. And then they analyse it. They send it over to Germany. They analyse everything. And by the time they've analysed it, you're on the register. You may not get your donor card for months because they send them in batches. But if you're called before you get your card, you're on the register anyway. Chances of being called are quite slim, unfortunately. But the fact that more people, there's only 3% of the world's population on the registers. So we need to get more people on.
Oh, Em's just said that she got her swabs, took 2 minutes, and that everybody should do it. It wasn't a big job. So interesting. So why don't people do it? Why haven't I done this?
Didn't know about it. It should be on standard cancer. It should be it should be a TV advert.
So I can't then, because I've been through treatment.
No. If you've got any history of cancer, even if childhood cancer, you can't donate your stem cells because of the risk, I guess. You know, you've had. And then,
if say I was able to and I donated, and then I got a call saying, "Ding ding ding, we've got a match.
Yeah,
we need your stem cells."
What happens?
Then what happens to me?
So they would do some more tests. You would have to go to your doctor's surgery and have a blood test. Anyone that says at this point, I don't like needles, where I just say, you know, the other person, the other end definitely doesn't like them, and they're a pincushion right now. So, you know, anyway, so you'd have a blood test. They might find more than one match. You could be one of a few people, which would be amazing. So you're all tested from the blood tests, and then they come up with the best match from that. They're looking for 10 out of 10, but I think they'll go with 8 out of 10. Then once you say, okay, Helen, you are now the best match, you have to be willing to donate through your arm, which is what 90% of stem cells are taken out of your arm. The needle goes in. Hang on, let's rewind. 2 or 3 days, I think, before you donate, a nurse will come to your home or place of work, and she'll give you stem cell stimulating injections, just super quick, and go. And that might make your joints feel a bit achy because your stem cells are in those cushiony bits of bone marrow. So then you are super prepared. You're going to the hospital like this.
Like bionic
stem cells.
Yeah.
So then you're going to hospital for a day. You will be treated like the queen or king that you are. You'll be plugged into a machine in most cases. I'll do the other bit in a minute. You have a needle in one arm. They'll take the blood, which has got the stem cells in, out of one arm. It'll go through a machine. I imagine it like a paint mixing machine. Shakes it up super fast. Sieves out the stem cells, which are usually a bag about this big, this full, and they're orange. And then the blood, I used to paint, and the blood goes back in your other arm. So you're not missing your blood, and you'll regenerate the stem cells in a couple of weeks. You're not missing anything. All you're doing is sharing your beautiful, wonderful, healthy immune system with someone whose immune system has failed them dismally. While you're doing this, and while you're going through these tests, and you're found to be the best match, the patient, the other end, has been told there's been a match. Right, full guns at you now. Chemo City. We are going to obliterate everything in your immune system that's crappy and cancery. In fact, we're going to obliterate your whole immune system. We're going to just take you down to ground zero. At this point, even getting a cold would kill you. So you better hope that nothing happens to your donor, because you're relying on that person.
God.
So that person is in hospital waiting. The two come together. You go in and you give your stem cells. The patient is waiting, and then the patient is given your healthy, non-cancerous, beautiful immune system into their body, where hopefully it grafts, it takes, it grows, it becomes part of them. And you would hope that 100 days post-transplant, if I was giving my stem cells to you, I would hope 100 days post-transplant you would be 100% donor blood. Here's the bit that makes me go goosebumps, and it's already happened. If you're an O and I'm an A, and I've donated my stem cells to you, you become an A. Your blood changes to my blood type. How cool is that?
Would I then like start like talking like you and like doing stuff that you do?
Only if you're really super unlucky.
That is incredible.
Epic. So if you don't do it through your arm, and this is usually because a child, so think of your kids, if a child might need bone marrow, guess where that is? That's going to be in the biggest bone in your body, to the pelvis area. So as the donor, you have to be, no, it's not gory at all, I swear it's not, it's really not. You have to be prepared to do both ways, because imagine if your child's got leukemia, they go, oh, found you a match, a life-saving match for your 3-year-old with leukemia. And then the other person goes, nah, I don't fancy that. You have to.
No, you're right. No,
you've got to do it both ways. Yes, you could get away with the crime. That's exactly it. That's funny. Then it comes out your hip. So basically, you go into hospital, you're knocked out. They come along with don't get heebie-jeebies. They come along with a very slim needle, aspirate it out, take a couple of aspirations till they've got what they need, wake you up, you get a little plaster, you will feel tired, you're getting over a general anaesthetic, but you know, potentially save someone's whole life. So that's the other way.
Wow.
And that's
So
usually
that's bone marrow. So when you do that swabby thing, are you offering yourself up for stem cell and marrow? Can they test you there as well?
yeah, it's a whole caboodle.
It's a whole
The
caboodle.
swabs will do, yeah. And
How
they'll
do you-
generally prefer to do it out your arm. Depends what the
Right.
patient needs.
And how do you get the swabs in the first place?
Oh, that's when you go online to DKMS or Anthony Nolan, and it says sign up as a stem cell donor. So you just fill it in, and then you'll get the swabs through the post. So
Wow.
it doesn't bother you in the
So are
slightest.
you on the register?
I am, yeah. And so the kids. Yeah, I'm desperate to be called up. It'd be like winning the lottery.
Yeah.
Both of you.
How amazing is that to be able? Yeah.
And then the really cool thing about it is, so it's so far removed from giving blood, because you give blood to a bank, don't you? And then you know it's gratefully received, obviously. But when you're giving your stem cells, obviously you don't know who the patient is. You might know where they are in the world if you're really quick and look at the label. And you might know if they're male or female, and you may have been told you're donating to a child. That's it.
Right.
But the charities, whoever you donate through, will keep you updated. You know, your patient has survived or not, but you know, you gave that family hope where there was none.
Yeah.
And your patient is doing well. And then you get updates. You can't actually physically contact each other until 2 years post-transplant. Then all the details, all the details are released, and then I get to meet you in real life.
Oh my god!
And it would be like meeting family, wouldn't it? I mean,
it would. So it's like really goosebumpy.
I've got totally. I know this inside out, and I send myself goosebumps.
Yeah. I just think it is so amazing. Is there a link that we can share on social media platforms to encourage people?
There's so much on my highlights. There's so much on my getting stuff done in Heals highlights under blood cancer. But afterwards, I'll share a link on stories, and absolutely.
Yeah, that would be really good.
There's more. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. I think we've covered so much there.
And has anyone got any questions? If
is there anything anybody wanted to ask?
Just while I have a quick swig of cold tea.
Oh, it's nothing like a cold. Nothing like when I've shared people. Oh, that's interesting. Can you say Penelope said that when she shares it, other people sign up. That's really good. My son's friend had this a couple of years ago when he was diagnosed. Ah, okay.
I think the thing that I find amazing with, I made myself cry with this, is where chemo can do so much. You know, you might be cured from, you know, that there's all that hope, but also a complete stranger could cure you, where the other things haven't. And then you can go on to live a normal life. I mean, it's just, did my husband have chemo? No, he had immunotherapy. Could a positive give to a positive potentially? Nothing to do with blood, so it's in your blood. So it doesn't matter what blood type you are. You could be Z and the most random blood type. It wouldn't matter what blood type you were. It's the stuff in your blood. So you get your blood back in your other arm after they've taken the stem cells out. I kind of feel like that it should be an opt-out thing, that everybody just has to do it. And it's just like part and parcel of living on this earth. Yeah, I mean, it should be as easy. If someone needs a stem cell donor, it should be like, there's one there. It should be like getting a spring shelf. It should be so easy, but it isn't. This is a whole realm. I dipped my toe in once, but I don't understand it, so I don't talk about it. But I know that you can donate your baby's cord blood, but that's a whole ball game. But there is that too. Some hospitals offer that. And then you can store it for yourselves in case you ever need it, or for a stranger. So. Oh really? I donated my breast milk when I was when I had my babies, because for some reason my body produced too much milk. My doctor said that it was like my body thought I'd had triplets, but I'd only had one. So I'd feed them and just have to still really engorged afterwards. So I would sort of siphon off whatever I could,
And then a van would come every day, a milk van, and pick up my milk.
Wow. I mean, I've heard some people make rice pudding out of theirs. That's just grim, isn't it? Far rather donate to a baby that needs it.
Yeah, exactly. But somebody said to me, "Oh, you could like sell it, and you could get."
What?
The going rate was like £30 for 200 ml. So a bottle of, you know, like a bottle of milk would have been 200 ml, £30. But then
Who knew?
I think but who's buying this stuff? And I think it's sort of those unsavoury people that turn up wearing nappies and a I think I'll just give it to the neonatal unit.
Any advice on how to push for getting more tested further than bloods? Yeah, just if your bloods are normal and you're still not right, and say, you know, blood cancer doesn't necessarily show up in a blood test. I would like, hang on, I wrote it down because I knew I'd get a blink.
You can always get second opinions as well. You can always go and see another doctor if you need to. I would definitely do that.
I would like blood test. Do I need a lymph node biopsy for this lymph node here that's not going down? Do I need scans, and will you do a urine test, please? Because, you know, fluffy urine can be a sign of a type of myeloma, I think.
Fluffy urine?
Like, you know, like not a straight, you know, aerated.
Oh, like a bit soda streamy.
Yeah, so that's my technical doctory term for.
Have you got a fluffy wee?
Just so everyone knows, I'm not actually a doctor.
She's not a doctor, but she knows what there is to know.
I would do that, and then you can say, and I want to be on that 2-week pathway because I am really worried I've got a type of blood cancer and it's not showing in a blood test because I know they don't. No, not cloudy, but like, yeah, frothy. Thank you, Carrie. Frothy. I don't know because Gav never had a urine test, so I don't know. But that was one of the things that you can ask for. That's out of my realms of knowledge because he never had a wee test. He had a blood test, and then he went straight on to a CT scan. So, yeah.
Oh, cool. Took 2 years for my symptoms to get to the
Well, Penelope, what was your diagnosis? Yeah.
So that's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with some cancers that, you know, you don't get 2 weeks, but with some chronic ones, also for Gav's type, follicular lymphoma, if he hadn't have had it discovered then, it wouldn't have mattered. And that's the weird thing, because cancer, you know, chronic myeloid vehicle, you know, like with your cancer, it proper did matter.
Yeah.
But with some, not all types of blood cancer, they would say, yeah, it's there, but we're not going to treat you, so don't worry about it. Go and live your life. In
a way, is it a little bit like, oh, I kind of wish we didn't know, because now we're worrying about it and we can't do anything about it. So
yeah, I think it's taken me a lot of, if anyone's worrying, if you Google getting stuff done in heels, how I taught myself to not worry at night, or go onto my blog and put not worry at night into the search, I created myself this whole thing of how I learned to sleep and not worry. And I still use it now, and it works. I promise anyone worrying about anything, don't have to be cancer, but anyone worrying about anything, I promise it works. So it's worth the read. If anyone wants me to link it, I can, but just have a look on my website at myself to stop worrying at night.
Yeah, send us the link.
Yeah.
Thank you, lovely. That was
I'm
so insightful. No, I really appreciate that. It's so good to hear about other learning about other cancers, really, and sharing is caring.
And I think the more we talk about it, the less scary it is. Because,
of course it is. Yeah.
You know, then you find out someone else has got it, and we're 6.5 years on, and it, you know, it just makes it less scary. Because I think when someone says you've got cancer or they died of cancer, you might as well say they died because they stopped breathing. Because it doesn't actually tell you what they died of. It just makes the word
so
scary.
True. It's so true. So true.
So thank you for having me.
Oh, and thanks everybody for joining us and for your questions. And
you can always DM me. I'm not
yeah.
doctor. You can always DM me, or there's loads on my website. There's a piece on my website called Thicker Than Water, and there's lots of like blog posts from guests that have written their stories about their own blood cancer
Wow,
experiences.
that's cool.
So there's lots to read there.
Brill.
Thank you, love.
Cool. All right, I'll make sure I connect that. Yes, and I'm climbing the O2 tomorrow. Chris is on here. She's going to be there with me as well.
Who's
Good
that?
to meet
Which
you in
one's
the
that?
flesh. Mam Hooch.
Mam Hooch
on here.
Oh, good
yeah.
luck tomorrow, Mam Hooch.
Yeah. So her name's Chris. She's going to be climbing the O2 with me tomorrow, along with lots of other women.
I should be watching. So I need to watch Loose Women, do I, tomorrow?
Live into Loose Women tomorrow, and then on the Lorraine show on Thursday.
And I'll see you in actual real life at the Women of the Year.
Yes, the week after, or the week after that, on the 11th.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Hurrah, hurrah.
Oh,
right.
Thanks,
well,
everybody.
thank you so
Have
much.
a lovely evening. See you later.
Tra.
Ta-ra.